Hey everyone, so here I am to make you familiar with NFC, that is Near Field Communication, which is based on RFID. Here we are going to see applications of RFID and how it is being implemented in various fields. Yes, so the picture you are seeing is of RFID chip. Here it contains the various loops which circulates the magnetic field, and this chip is literally very tiny, very small, and it can be embedded and inserted in any device. So this is an overview that what we are going to see in further discussion. First we will have the introduction part, then we will going to have the types of RFID, where it is used, basically these are the applications, and at the end we are going to conclude it with advantages and disadvantages. So let's start with the introduction part first. Yeah, what is the full form of RFID? R represents radio, F represents frequency, and ID is basically the identification. These three, radio, frequency, identification, makes the RFID chip. Yes, let's move on to the RFID chip, the functioning part. Basically, it uses the electromagnetic field for communication. It automatically tracks and identifies the object, what it is doing. uh, it doesn't need any power source, which we will see further, but it works on the loops that we have seen in the first picture, which generates the electromagnetic power of another device, and it start communicating with it. it uh, yeah, it has two components, that is the tag and the reader. Tag is basically the RFID chip, and the reader is the one in which we are inserting the chip. Next, moving on to the next point, that is technology. It was developed in 1973, but it is recently used now. It has a vast use in today's generation. Okay, uh, need not uh, need not mean the line of sight. It means that you doesn't require any medium, or it should be in front of something. Even if there is a screen in between, it can work, and even if there is a wall in the between tag and a reader, then too it will work if it is a very strong. Okay, can be embedded means the chip can be inserted in any type of the device and has its internal memory, which can store the ID, and other than it can't store anything. Moving on to the next, the frequencies on which RFID work. These three frequencies, that is 125 kilohertz, 13.5 megahertz, okay, 2.4 gigahertz. These three are the frequencies on which RFID work. Because why RFID has selected these three frequencies? Because these are free. Anyone can use it, and anyone can having communication through these frequencies. That's why these three frequencies are being selected for RFID chip. Next, coming on to the signaling. Yeah, it is based on handshaking protocol. First, communication between reader and a tag. Tag sends a signal depend in the built-in code. Reader reads the signal and respond accordingly. So first the handshaking protocol पे ये work करता है. Yeah. Next, coming to the types of RFID. Okay, basically there are two types. One is active and passive. Let's have first to the active RFID. This have a local power source. Generally, a battery is used, or we can say a cell is being used. Yeah, it has a lesser life, more range, and yes, it is costlier. Okay. Uh, in today's technology, mostly the passive is used. So let's move on to the passive one. No local power source means it doesn't require any cell or any type of charger. It just takes the electromagnetic field of the reader, and through that power it can communicate. Like here written, power is generated using the magnetic field of the reader. Theoretical infinite life. Okay, since it doesn't require any power source, so it has an infinite life. Short range, and yeah, of course a lower cost. Now coming on to the next is encrypted part. From security point of view, it is not, if it is not encrypted, it's not good, because communication between reader and tag is not encrypted, and many reader to tag connections, anyone can read this by cloning it if the ID is not encrypted. Yeah, if it is encrypted, it is for very secured and one reader pair with only one tag. No other reader can access it at that time. Then it only uses read only memory and tag data cannot be changed. Next is read write. Tag memory can be edited, mostly used for encrypted communication. Yeah, next moving on to the uses or the application part. The first is e-commerce, commerce and trading basically. Here this they scan the ID for the particular cloth and keep them. And if the cloth is being taken without purchase, then the detector detects and scans the ID and the siren rings, which indicate that the item is not being purchased and the person is taking it without since the ID rings the bell. Yeah, the next one is access. Here the basically the card systems are being used in Delhi metros or even now in iBus and offices, even in hospitals. The card contains the chip, and when it is being swiped, the ID gets detected and it unlocks the door or any type of machine in which the card is being inserted. Then the next is transportation. Yeah, today's we are using this fast tag on the vehicles. Okay, so it gets operated on toll tax where people don't have to pay in cash and the ID gets detected and unlocks the path from wherever they have to go. So this is basically the cashless mode of paying, and here the user already pays the bill before traveling. The next one is passport. India has recently started with this, where passport contains this chip, and with the unique ID here, they don't have to match the photo of a person or they don't have to type the unique ID. It only just have a scan at the chip. In India, it is recently used, but in foreign countries, it was previously used. India has started it now, and this is a very good thing. Yeah, the next is animal ID. Developed country has this where farmers keep thousands of cows in their dairy farm. If cow is being lost or being misplaced or they have been gone far away, so through this tag they can trace the location. They just insert the tag on the ear or the foot of the animal, and through this they can identify their cow. So this is a very good thing if something is if any animal is being misplaced. Okay. Yeah, so the next one is libraries. Uh, Books contain this RFID chip, and if someone is trying to take this book without being issued, the detector detects it. This is currently being installed. No, no, not currently being installed. From 3 to 4 years, the IIT Bombay is using this technology. Every book contains this RFID chip there. Yeah, there are many more things where this ID can be used. So now next moving on to the conclusion, which ends up at advantages and disadvantages. This is a very promising technology for ID. It is very easy to implement, easy to operate, and yeah, of course at a lower cost. Yeah, so but the only disadvantages, the basic disadvantages is data flooding. Why? Because the large amount of data is being flooded to the server, which is somewhere not good from the security point of view. Second is the absence of global standards, which means there is no such format or the standard format like we have in format for date, day, year. For particular date we have in format, so the ID which is being installed doesn't have any format. Every company is designing their format and inserting in the chip, like you can see the ATM cards, credit cards. Security concerns, it's not good. Shielding and skimming theft are being done very gradually. Privacy concerns, deliberate destruction in clothing or other things. This is a very common thing. To insert the tag, the clothes are being suppressed with holes, which is anyhow destructing the cloth material. This is generally in e-commerce, this is a very big threat to it. So yeah, let's end with this. I hope you understood the concept of RFID and where it is used. Thank you.